Hi, my name's Morven. I'm one of the instructors at Memorial Athletic Club. We thought it might be an idea to do a real basic introduction to Pilates. Some of our great instructors have already done some workouts for you, but you might have heard some terms that you think, what are they talking about? Because I know when I started Pilates, I certainly was very confused. So I've decided to do just 5 really short introduction videos so that you can learn the basics of Pilates and you'll get some good benefits out of it. So today I'm going to start with the breathing. The breathing is one of the most important things that we learn in Pilates, and it's a little tricky to get it right to start with. Most of us are used to breathing kind of deep belly breaths when we breathe. Pilates is very different. We're going to try and breathe into the sides and back of the rib cage to really get full use of the lungs. We breathe in through the nose and we blow through what we call pursed lips. So an example of pursed lips, imagine you were trying to blow through a straw like this. That is how we're going to exhale when we do our movements. So we're going to start, as I say, with the breathing. The first thing I'm going to do is, I have my homemade props here. Normally I would have a little pad if I was at the gym, but I'm using a book. And I'm just going to place that under my head. Not everybody needs to use a pad under the head, but when I lie flat without something, I'll just demonstrate. You'll see my chin goes up kind of towards the ceiling and my neck is in a bit of a curve, or more curve than I want. So I'm just going to place the book underneath my head. And I'm going to make sure that the 3 bony points of my front of my pelvis are flat. So in other words, I don't want my pubic bone lifted like this towards the ceiling, nor do I want a huge big gap under my lower back. This is what we refer to as our neutral spine. A neutral spine is the best shock absorbing position for the spine. And some of us have to work to get that neutral. I know when I started Pilates, I was very, very curved in the lower back. So sometimes when you lie down, it might feel a little foreign to try and get these 3 points into place. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the breathing. As I said earlier, we're going to take a breath in through the nose, and then we're going to exhale all that air out through those pursed lips, like blowing out through a straw. But I'm trying to direct the breath into the sides and back of the rib cage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands, I'm going to place the middle fingers together, and then I'm just going to place the hands on my rib cage. Okay? Now, the reason that I'm doing this, when I take my breath in, I want to try and direct the breath into my hands and not down here into the tummy. So I'm just going to take a deep breath in through the nose, and then I'm going to exhale through pursed lips. Inhale again, breathe in through the nose, and exhale through pursed lips. Now you probably can't see this on the video, but what's happening when my breath is going into the ribs, the fingertips actually separate just a little bit, not like way out here, but they're inhaling, ribs widen, and then exhale and the fingertips come back together. And if you find that your fingers are just staying like this, then your breath is probably going down into the tummy, the abdomen area, and we don't want that to happen. Okay? Now, the reason that we're breathing like this is we want to contract the deep abdominal muscles. And how do we do that? So, here's an example for you. Imagine you've put your jeans in the tumble dryer and they've shrunk just a tiny, tiny amount, just like half a size. So you're going to visualize, I'm going to lie down to do this. Imagine you've put your jeans on and you're going to zip from the pubic bone all the way to the navel. Okay? Now, Here's the thing, most people when I first start teaching them, I'll say zip up your jeans and they'll do this and they suck everything in and the pelvis tips, that's too much. When you're in this neutral spine and we've got the gentle curve in the back and these 3 points nice and flat, when we draw the abdominals in, you don't want to feel any shifting in the lower back. You'll feel a tightening round here, hopefully, and that's what we're aiming to do. We don't want to suck everything in, it's just a gentle contraction. We're engaging the pelvic floor muscles, and I'm not going to say an awful lot about that, but if you just think about doing a very, very gentle Kegel, and when I say gentle, it's basically, it's just there and no more. That is what we're aiming for. Now, you'll see here I've got a ball. It's sometimes very handy when we're trying to learn the breathing to put a ball or something heavy on the tummy so that when you're breathing, it gives you kind of a reference point. If you take a deep breath in and it goes into the tummy, you can see that ball rolls off. Now, we're at home, we're not at the gym, so if you even got like a can of soup or something, that could go on the tummy. Not that way, this way, and that would help, okay? Now, the fact that I'm speaking, I'm not going to put the ball on because it is just going to constantly roll off. But that is something that you could do at home. Just put something here as you're breathing. That will give you some feedback where the breath is going, okay? So we're going to just do some breaths here. Again, I'm going to take an inhale and then exhale. Inhale again, breathe in. One more breath, inhale. And exhale. Okay, so there's various different ways you can practice your breathing. Now, I have got my barrel here. Now, obviously, most people will not have this at home, but again, you can stack a couple of books on top of each other, or if you've got a little step, or even if you go to your stairs, you could sit a couple of stairs up, feet down. It's just going to give you a little bit more room for your pelvis. So now I'm going to demonstrate breathing, flexing over the feet. And this is a great position to teach the breathing, because when you flex over your legs, it's almost impossible to breathe down into your tummy. So for new students, I always recommend try it lying down and then come up and then flex over the legs. So this is what we're going to do. You want to make sure there's no tension up in the neck. And when you flex forward, you're not disappearing down your t-shirt like this, okay? So I'm going to take a deep breath into the ribs, and then I'm flexing forward. I'm keeping the shoulders soft. As I say, I'm not disappearing down the t-shirt. Now I'm going to take 5 breaths here. Inhale. Number 4. And then I'm going to restack the spine. So, as I say, you don't need to have something like this. You can sit in the stairs. You don't even really need to sit up on anything, but I'm tight in the hips, so it just allows that little bit more movement forward for me. Okay, so that is our first basic principle. We have 5 basic principles in Pilates in every exercise we do. The breath, it just takes practice. You can practice it sitting in a chair. When I started Pilates, I would start practicing it in the car. If I was sitting at the traffic lights, because you've got the seat behind you, if you take a breath in and you feel those ribs expanding, you know that you're breathing correctly. Now, we only use this breath in Pilates Don't go on your treadmill and try and breathe like this. I had one lady that tried to do that and it didn't work very well. So this is Pilates breathing. Okay, now I'm just going to show you a couple of exercises using the breath. This is just really part of our warm-up, and tomorrow I'll give you the second basic principle, but today we're just going to do the breathing. I'm going to get rid of my makeshift pad. Now when I lie down on the mat, we want to make sure everything is aligned properly. You don't want your feet out and your knees in. You want to make sure that your feet are in line with what we call our sits bones. And the sits bones are the bony bones here underneath the pelvis. And so it's really only 2 or 3 inches apart. So I've got myself nice neutral spine. I'm going to take an inhale. And then as I exhale, I'm going to push my hips up to the ceiling. Now, I'm going to take a deep breath in here. And then I'm going to exhale, lower down to the floor. Now, what I really tried to do there was to take that breath up into my ribs. Let me show you what happens if I breathe deeply down into the tummy. I'm going to take an inhale, exhale up. Now, you might see it's very small, but I could feel when I took the breath down into my tummy, I felt the pelvis cave a little bit. It kind of dropped just slightly, but that's what happens. So again, I want to breathe up into my rib cage. So I'm going to take another breath in, and then exhale, push. One more. So that's a very simple exercise that you can do, just focusing on that breath going into your rib cage. I'm going to show you one more exercise, and it's going to involve moving the legs, but again, I'm very conscious of my breath and the fact that I'm trying to stay in neutral spine. And the way I stay in my neutral spine is involving those deep abdominals. So think of those jeans half a size too small and you're zipping up to the belly button. Okay, I'm going to bring my pad back for this. Now this exercise, we're going to circle one leg. Okay, the exercise is called one leg circle. Again, I'm making sure that my 3 points of the pelvis are lying nice and flat. And by all means, use your hands. Okay, again, you're here, so if you need to feel these bony points, the pubic bone, and think, right, we're nice and flat to set up, that is absolutely fine. Okay, and that's what I do with any new student. I get them to kind of feel where their body is set. Now, I'm going to lift my right leg up. Now, I have tight hamstrings, so this is it. The leg in the ideal world is straight. Mine is going to stay slightly bent. And again, you can use your hands to place on the 2 points of the pelvis here. I'm going to circle my leg, and I want to check that I'm not shifting from side to side. So on the inhale, I draw half a circle inwards. Inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. 2 more. And then we're going to reverse our circle. I'm going to bring this leg down, and then without the hips shifting, I'm going to bring the other leg up. I'm going to repeat. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now 5 in the other direction. So that was just adding some movement with the breath. Constantly thinking, the breath flowing, and thinking about the movement and am I able to keep in my neutral spine. Okay, so that's just a really quick introduction to Pilates breath. My next video will be on the pelvic placement. And that is just basically, I touched today on our neutral spine. There's one other position that we use when we do our exercises, and that is what we call our imprinted spine. So if you've watched a couple of the other videos and you'll hear some of the instructors saying draw the belly button into imprint, you're maybe going, okay, what is imprint? So that will be my next video. So anyway, I will check in with you tomorrow. Stay safe and thanks for watching.